Oh no.
Missing.
Greg?
Missing.
I thought this was a duet.
Missing.
Oh, so you're just gonna sing all the parts? Those are not the right sounds.
Missing.
Can you hear me?
Missing. Oh, missing.
Bonk.
Welcome to Missing. I'm Greg.
And I'm Tim, and this is a pod that celebrates and appreciates the mistakes of the past, present, and future.
Yeah, in every episode, we take a key moment from our missing storied career and do what we do best, which is make it all about us. And yeah, we're super giggly right now just because Tim is on the verge of spilling multiple times in his Tom Welling mug.
I feel like this beginning is kind of what's been happening this whole day, which is just like we are teetering on the edge, and I was very nervous that I was about to spill all my iced tea on this couch right here on this pod.
Yeah, it's mayhem.
Yeah.
Ahead of the release, we are
We're sponsored.
Yeah, the medicine is sort of already starting to work with us, the mayhem medicine.
Yeah.
And we are, this is sort of our grassroots marketing campaign for Gaga's upcoming album, which we, of course, cannot wait for.
Can't wait.
I realize we have not been talking about it on the podcast, but this is something that we've needed to discuss.
Okay.
We need to talk about the Traitors.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's annoying that we're bringing it up after Carolyn. Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So for anyone who is not caught up on the Traitors, this has spoilers. It doesn't have spoilers from the latest episode, but from the previous week's episode. And the most recent thing we're going to talk about is Carolyn's
Ousting.
That is so hard to watch.
It is to the point where it almost ruined the season.
Yeah.
The only reason for me that I want to continue even watching it is I just want Gabby to win now, because I think that and I never really want the Faithfuls to win.
Never.
But it's like Danielle is playing a terrible game. My jury is out. The jury is out for me about if she's so bad that she then comes back around and as being good, but I just think she's terrible.
No, she is DOA. Danielle is one of the worst players in anything I've ever seen. Gabby, of course, is the only reason to be watching anymore, and I do hope that she wins. Obviously, I wish that Carolyn and Danielle could have gotten it together and invited her to be a traitor. That would have been amazing. It would have been an actually good move, but she's sort of the only person I'm rooting for. Her and Ivor, of course.
I would love if the noble ends up winning the money. That is so LOL.
Of course. Yeah, but I will say I think this has been an awesome season. It was really interesting to have the Traitors sort of be turning on each other. But I have a message for the producers of the Traitors. No more Big Brother players. No more Big Brother players, and no more challenge players for that matter. No one wants to see these people. They are weird. They're antisocial people playing a social game, and so far they have ruined every season of this show. Also, no one named Dan or Danielle, because these Big Brother players have come in, legends apparently, on their show, and they have sidelined the entire thing. At a certain point, the shows have been going so well, and the season gets ruined, and no one wants to watch anymore because these weirdos who were apparently good on Big Brother
are ruining it.
They ruined the good people's games, and then they also get the interesting people out because they are so disinteresting themselves. I guess you could potentially make the argument that they make good TV because they're chaotic.
You can make good TV with other people.
No, they get in the way of the great TV that's trying to be made.
Yeah.
Listen to me. No Big Brother people next year, and definitely no the challenge people.
Yeah.
Just trust me. The audience will thank you.
Yeah.
Let the show be good.
Yeah. Wow.
That's that on that.
That's the Gauntlet, which is a spinoff, I believe, of the challenge, or maybe that's what happened. They go to the Gauntlet on the challenge.
Totally. Better yet, an All Housewives, All Survivor season.
Oh,
please.
Yeah.
That would be like, I'm getting chills talking about how potentially amazing that would be. I mean, you've got killers from all walks of television. Well, all walks of television being those two specific franchises. Yeah. But that's all anyone wants to see. And Christian Siriano. And RuPaul.
It could be, which is very survival, right? Survivor does have like this like season versus this season. Didn't they do that once?
Oh, like, yeah. Heroes versus villains and all
where
that.
It's like you could do Survivor versus Housewives.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, no, that's not good, because then when there's too much of one show, then they like also will be like, there's too many housewives. We have to just kill the housewives.
Sure.
And it's like, don't do that.
Sure.
So I do think it should be a sprinkling of enough other things.
Bravo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bravo celebrities.
Exactly. You could do Bravo. You could do, oh my God, you know who should play?
Who?
Kathy Griffin. Did you ever see Celebrity Mole? I probably talked about it. She played Celebrity. If people have not seen Celebrity Mole with Eric Von Detten, Kathy Griffin, Frederick Vanderwall, these Corbin Blue, these D-list celebrities.
Get them on the Traitors. Do a Celebrity Mole season of the Traitors.
Celebrity Mole. Wow.
The
exact cast.
Hello. Are you listening, Peacock?
Oh my God. Okay. I think we need to. There's nowhere to go but to Don Mom Sauce.
Yeah. Anyways, nowhere to go but Don Mom Sauce. You said it best.
Yes.
AKA Doll of the Day, Mother of the Moment, Sister of the Second. Our first segment.
And our most famous.
Yeah, where we pick a person, place, or thing that we're currently super obsessed with.
Yes.
And do you have one?
Okay, well, I'm bending the rules this week because I am so obsessed with this person, and not in a good way, but it has not left my brain. And you are going to be so excited because I have been aggravating you all week because I refused to tell you this story until we were on the pod.
I have actually put this out of my memory. You were driving me nuts the other day.
The whole weekend.
Okay.
I had a dinner on Friday night, and it was so awful, and I was telling everyone about it.
Yeah, except everyone but me.
Exactly. And you had like people over to your house on Saturday night. I was doing my own Traitors, which is as soon as you left the room, I would tell everyone. I couldn't stop talking about how bad this dinner was.
Yeah, right.
And if you came back in the room, I'm like, shh, don't tell, and you were getting so annoyed because, and we were hanging out earlier on Saturday, and I just kept telling you, like, God, do I have a good story for you?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it's like not even that good, but what was done to me was reprehensible.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it sounds that way.
To get into it, my friend was visiting. I met a friend in Southeast Asia, not Helen.
Okay.
Someone else who I was like, we got along. It was great. And sometimes when you do these trips and you like make a friend for a vacation, you wonder if it's just like gay for the stay, you know?
Gay for the stay.
Where you're like,
I've not heard that one.
That's like a prison thing, right? Gay for the stay. Yeah.
Okay,
But I'm making it where I'm like, you're wondering if you're just friends for the trip.
Yeah.
You know?
And you do like to travel prison style, staying in the worst possible places.
Exactly.
Just
with cockroaches on your eyes.
Yeah, of course.
And so I was like,
Gennifertias know.
They know, the real ones. And I was like, okay, is this a real friend that like transcends just this time that we've traveled for weeks? Or is it like gonna cross boundaries to real life?
Right.
So
to gay for pay.
To gay for pay. And honestly, it was gay for pay, a little teaser for this story, which is that nothing about the story is gay.
Sure.
But so she reached out, she's visiting LA, and she was like, I'm going to be in town for one night. I'd love to see you. I haven't seen her in years. And she was out here for this job. And she was like, do you want to get dinner? And I was like, oh my God, great. Like, I was so excited because I was like, okay, it's not gay for this day. Like, we're real friends.
Yeah, like with so much has happened, it'll be like old times.
It will be just like old times. And I was like, and this is like a real friendship. And so literally, you know, rushed to get all my work done on Friday, like move heaven and mountains to be there at this dinner. An hour or two before.
The two famous, the perfect combo, heaven and mountains.
Yes, exactly. Heaven and why is that a phrase? Heaven and
I've
earth.
never actually heard
You
that.
never heard
Well, I've heard heaven and earth, never heaven and mountains.
Oh, I said heaven and mountains.
Yeah, heaven and mountains, title of ep.
Heaven and mountains, yes.
Sort of, it didn't in my ear right, so I needed to point it out.
Heaven and mountains, to me, doesn't sound right, but it also sounds perfect.
Total. It's beautiful imagery. Yeah. It's just
Well,
unexpected.
because you can't move a mountain. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
anyway. Yeah,
Anyways.
it's such an AI version of a phrase.
Which is my brain.
Yeah.
And so I move heaven and mountains
The famous
thing to get to this dinner on time. An hour before that, she had reached out to me like, hey, so sorry to do this, but I'm only in town for one night. I have a flight in the morning. The CEO that I'm traveling with, who I didn't think was going to come along because like there's a huge age gap, they're the CEO.
Yeah.
And we've been traveling together for a while. Like I told them that I had this dinner and they just like invited themselves to come. Is that okay?
Oh.
And there's really only one answer you can say, and you only have this night. So I'm like, yeah, like that's fine.
Yeah, cha-ching.
Cha-ching, exactly. Where I'm like, it's a CEO, at least like there'll be some benefits here.
Of course. Yeah, your favorite position is in the boardroom.
Yes, exactly. Friends with benefits is what I'm thinking over here.
Of course, yeah.
So I get to the dinner, and like at first everything's like kind of going well. I'm noticing that the CEO, it will only be referred to as the CEO in this story.
Yeah.
That the CEO is talking a lot, and I'm not really getting a chance to talk to my friend. And I'm kind of thinking like, okay, that's kind of
so me-coded.
Yeah.
Taking over every conversation.
And you're also a CEO.
Yeah,
yes.
of course. CEO.
And so
CEO Misting Pod Incorporated.
yeah, and I'm going to take you there, for, co-CEO. And so the dinner is happening, and at first I'm like, okay, maybe it's just like they're just friendly, but then it will slowly calm down, and I'll be able to have some more interactions with my friend who I haven't seen in years.
Mm-hmm. They'll come to their senses and sort of pipe down.
The like waitress comes to like get the food order. The CEO gets so annoyed and is just like, we haven't had enough time. Meanwhile, like we've been there for 15 minutes. Like we actually have had enough time. Like we're being the rude ones.
Right. Like
you know?
Stop talking and look at your menu.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe we should look at the menu. It was one of those QR code menus.
Oh, well, that's...
The CEO, which I understand, but the CEO has way too big of a reaction about it as if it's the worst thing that's ever happened to this person in their life. And so I'm kind of reacting. And then
visiting a city where there were just fires that decimated
exactly
the mountains.
Yes. And this CEO then, I want to say, pulls up the QR code within maybe 10 seconds, is just like, I've had enough. Let's just do these 2 family platters. Does everyone sound good with that? And it was a question, but it was also an answer. You know, like there was only one answer. And I was kind of like, whatever, I'm going along for this. I'm also assuming you're paying because you're the CEO.
Right.
So I'm kind of like, okay, that's fine. Like, I kind of wish I got to see the menu and not, but at the same time, like, if you feel confident about this is the thing that you want to get, sure.
Great.
Whatever. That goes along and then spends the next 10 minutes being like, God, we ordered wrong. And I was literally like, we ordered wrong? And also like, we don't even know what the food is yet. Like, calm down and let me talk to my friend. My friend had just gotten engaged too. And so I was like wanting to hear about the engagement.
Right.
I talked for maybe 30 seconds about the engagement. The CEO goes onto their phone and is like, oh, like so annoyed that we're not including them in the conversation. I was getting so annoyed because I was like, oh my God, if you're not included, this is, and then my friend is getting stressed about the CEO not being, so then their
CEO doesn't even know that she's engaged.
Yes, it would, yeah, exactly. I think they just found that out. Then at the very end of the dinner, it comes to the check.
No, I do not.
Yeah. The check rolls around, and let me tell you, what this man ordered was a lot of food. Which, by the way, when the food came, it was so much food, and I had said, I think we only need one platter. And they were like, no, the CEO was like, we need double. Then was complaining about this whole thing where I'm like, you did this. You did this to us, sir.
Right. And how was it, by the way?
The food actually was good.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully, the food was good.
Yeah.
Then check comes, and I'm like looking at the CEO. I do the famous thing, which is I'm like, okay, I'll like fake put my card on the table, but I'm assuming that this 55-year-old man who's CEO,
running a company and here on business
and
invited himself
to this
dinner.
meal,
yeah,
will cover it.
I am getting hot.
And guess what? They do not cover the bill.
Oh my God, this is so painful to hear.
I didn't get to talk to my friend. I paid for a meal that I didn't even get to choose. I had to put up with a conservative person. Got interrogated.
Did your friend warn you about this?
No, and I did get a message that said, like, hey, I didn't realize that they were going to make you do that. Like, please send me the bank note and I will split that with you.
The bank note.
I'm
starting to
British.
place.
They're British.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really hard to hear. I'm so sorry.
I
Of
had to
course,
recover.
I am mad at you
because
you waited until now. You waited until the podcast to get my reaction.
Well, the thing is, and you guys, the Gennifertias can see this, I just needed to go in, and I was like, this will take up 45 minutes.
Sure.
So I was like, let me just save it for the pod.
Yeah, that is so devastating. But if he wants to fund or advertise on Miss Thing podcast,
He'll make me pay for it.
He will make you pay for it, but I will gladly collect that check.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to shill. Yeah. No, I won't.
Okay, well, enough about this person.
Yeah.
And let's make it about you.
Oh, I'm happy to.
Who, what, where, and when is your mom sauce?
Well, the when is now.
Okay.
The when is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an interesting timing for that because what I'm talking about as my dad mom sauce is Demi Moore's autobiography. Yeah. You have warned me. You have shouted it from the rooftops alongside our dear friend, the female roofer, which I wonder how she's doing. I bet she's getting a lot of work after the wins and fires.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't about her.
Yes, it should be.
It should be. I mean, I'd love to get my eyes on her autobiography.
That she is probably spying and seeing them do their Drag Race lip sync through their windows.
Yeah,
probably in the hundreds since she's seen me do it.
Yeah, well, anyway. I think of her often. That being said, Demi Moore's autobiography, truly one of the most engaging, fascinating celebrity memoirs I've ever read, especially like as the Oscars will have aired by the time this episode comes out, and I think she's got it. I think Demi's got this in the bag. I need to see the substance again, knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
This story has it all. Born to a teenage mother. The parents are crooks. They're moving around all the time. She had a lazy eye, got it fixed, and suddenly everyone loves her. Almost getting fired from her first movie because she's already an alcoholic.
Yeah.
This is like the ultimatum, having to go get sober. 2 decades of sobriety. Like, Bruce Willis sounds like the greatest man I've ever heard of. Yeah. Ashton Kutcher.
Worst person I've ever heard of.
Worst person that's ever existed. There is a scene that is so harrowing in this book when she's with Ashton and they're sitting at dinner and he tells her he doesn't think alcoholism is real. And she starts drinking again and falls off the wagon. She's been through it all. It's an incredible Hollywood tale. She's come through so much, learned so much.
People don't talk enough, too, about what the end of their relationship, what happened at the end of their relationship. She literally was pregnant with his child, ended up not being able to, having a miscarriage.
Yeah.
Very late term miscarriage.
Yes.
And then Ashton Kutcher cheats on her.
It is so crazy. It's such a good book. I listened to it. I couldn't recommend it more. It came from Tim. I never would have known. But Demi Moore is the real deal. And in this moment, I am fingers crossed, really hoping that she pulls out this Oscar win, because knowing what I know now, she has earned it. And everything in the substance feels like it has been ripped from her life and she's lived it before. She was told, her mother apparently let this old man into their apartment and let her get raped at like 13 years old. And then the guy comes back and says, how does it feel to be whored out by your mother for $500? The things she has been through, it's shocking.
It is, and on top of the crazy life that she's lived, the intelligence and wisdom that she has gained, like that is why it's a good memoir, is like not only has she had this like awful but also triumphant life at the same time, is that like so often people kind of aren't willing to go there and also don't have interesting things to say or offer to the people. Like, since I've experienced this, I want to teach you what I have learned. And it's like, I mean, we've been seeing it all Oscar season, which her speeches are amazing because she actually is one of the most intelligent people.
Deeply intelligent.
And the other reason, everyone go listen to, because she has one of the best voices of all time. So it's so nice to hear that raspy voice.
Yeah. Ugh. But wow, the Demi Essence is so well deserved. I haven't quite left like a book feeling so much respect for someone. It's really, really special. I recommend listening to it or reading it, but it's definitely like a great companion piece to everything that's going on with her right now. Yeah. And I couldn't recommend it more.
Wow, I'm so happy you brought up that book. It's my top three. My top three listeners: Jessica Simpson, Demi Moore, Mackenzie Phillips.
That I don't know about.
That's my next recommendation for you. She is the daughter of, what is it, California? Oh, my voice.
Well, let's save the singing to Mackenzie Phillips' mother or father.
The mamas and papas.
Oh, I mean, the famous parents, the most famous parents.
Well, let me just tell you, if that is the actual craziest memoir of all time, and you do need to. But it's so crazy that it's almost like too much. It's like you almost are like, no.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I might say yes to that soon.
Yes. And I think we should say yes
to a break. Welcome back. And it's time for our Miss Thing of the Week.
Okay. This Miss Thing is one of my favorite people. Is also a rare case of I love her and her mom. Well, actually, no. I love her mom more, I will say. Well, okay. But I love her. Her mom is one of my ultimates. But
of course,
she is radiant, so talented. Is
nepo-baby-gone-right.
Exactly. And should be put in so many more things, because I still feel like her talent is underrated, and she has it goes way too long with her being put in the right role.
Yes. But I feel like whenever she's in something, she so brings herself to it. And like, it's amazing what you do get her mother in her, but she's so her own person as well. And that our Miss Thing of the Week is Kate Hudson. And we are talking about Kate Hudson this week because she is in the new Mindy Kaling show.
Yeah, Running Point. It just came out over the weekend. And I mean, we don't need to talk about the credits, but I will. We've got Almost Famous. We've got
Bride Wars.
And one of the best, to me, top 5 rom-coms of all time, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh my God. Women of New York, frost yourselves. Hey, frost you.
You're So Vain. I mean, one of the best.
Andy Anderson, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Catherine Hahn.
Oh my God. Well, Andy Anderson is the character.
No, I know.
Yeah, right.
I'm just going into the next thing, which is we also have Catherine Hahn in this
Oh, and we should always mention Catherine Hahn
we'll get-
as she
yes,
will get so many downloads.
Yes, I know, crazy.
Catherine, keep them coming.
I mean, the Love Fern. Anyways, we're just
And one of the greatest, one of your favorite movies, one of the greatest horror movies with one of the best twists, The Skeleton Key.
That is, to me, listen, listeners, I'm not going to vouch for whether or not it holds up 22 years later.
But it was so good then.
I will say this. I have never been in a theater and been more shocked in my life. 13-year-old Tim watching Skeleton Key. It is one of my favorite movies because the twist at the end gooped and gagged me so hard.
I remember it's totally shocking. Do I know what it is?
No,
Could I tell you now?
You should go back and watch. It's like weirdly like a not woke version of like Get Out. That's what I'll say. Like there are a lot of elements of Get Out in it, but like the early 2000s version of it that maybe doesn't hold up.
Yeah, it's called Get In Here.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we have got 9.
Yeah, that's sort of where I go first.
Yes,
emotionally.
We've got
Knives Out.
Well,
Glass Onion. Yeah,
Fool's Gold.
Of course. How could we forget?
How could you? 200 Cigarettes.
Oh, that one's
good.
Yeah, she came in and really strong, and then like the cover of Almost Famous. I mean, the poster of Almost Famous. The sunglasses. She like defined that era of movie making, and then became an it girl.
She's also just like very much like her mother, like true, like radiates sunshine and joy and California dreaming.
Totally.
And I want to be at her house getting drunk.
Totally.
She, to me, is someone who it's like, throws the ultimate house party.
Exactly. Drinking, sipping on her friend Cammie D's wine. Valvoline. Is it called?
Valvoline, yeah. But Valvoline oil. I think.
What is it? Abalone?
Aveline. Anyways, but I think
it. I would be
we should
willing
be promoting. I think Kate Hudson has a tequila, so we should be doing her tequila.
Of course, we tried it. We love it. Kate,
we're on
send
it right
us.
now.
Yeah, send us some free cases.
I would love to do. I want to do a shot with Kate Hudson.
Totally, and dance on a bar with Kate Hudson.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go right into my story because
of course.
We were talking about her show and TV, and I'm going to just make it easy, 1-to-1.
Yeah, and you can't help but make it about yourself, so.
It's easy for me.
Yeah.
Which is, she's in this new Netflix show called Running Point, which, listen, it has to do with sports. I believe it's basketball, but sports are not my strong suit.
I could be watching and I couldn't tell you what it was, what the sports name was.
And that is exactly what my story is, which is I grew up with a father who coached me in every sport imaginable.
We are imaginable. You're so me.
Yeah.
Slurring your words.
Because when I talk about sports, my brain refuses to let me talk about it.
Sports and learning a new card game. Yeah, impossible to sort of decode in the brain.
100%, except for I don't agree with you about card games because I love a card game.
All right, well, don't argue with me on my podcast.
All right.
My podcast, because I was the CEO.
Yeah. So my dad, he coached me in volleyball, baseball, basketball, track, like literally you name it.
Anything to try to get you into it. He was like, how can I get my son involved in this? That's what we share. My dad also coached
everything. He was also like my Boy Scout den leader. Did the same thing for my sister.
Yeah.
It was
Boy Scout. Talk about sports. I couldn't get into sports. Boy Scouts, don't even try.
Boy Scouts, I actually did.
You would.
I did like Boy Scouts. You would. I mean, it was fun. I feel like there was a lot of snacks and a lot of handkerchiefs.
Totally. And a lot of little box cars. What are
Yeah,
they?
and there was a lot of like the I don't know what it's called, but there's like a metal thing that holds up your handkerchief or whatever.
Oh, like a bolo tie
Yeah.
kinda.
There's
Yeah,
a
you would all
lot-
be fixing that. Yeah, there's a lot of
Exactly.
like bells and whistles.
And I love that,
Of
you know,
course,
and,
okay.
and a lot of ceremony. So you know what?
Yeah, and gay
I'm gonna get back
overtones.
into it.
yeah. I'm going back into Boy Scouts.
2025. What's my goal? To be a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Well, that
again.
sounds gross. Okay. An Eagle Scout? Anyways. Anyways, I'm playing sports with my dad. He's coaching me. He's a lot because whenever my dad coached, like a whole new personality came in, very masculine, very like demanding of everyone on the team. It was not my vibe. We did not get along during this phase because I didn't like sports, and then also I had a dad who was like coaching all of my friends and like telling me what to do. So I was like, hell no.
No thanks.
Yeah.
And when you get on the sports field, let's call
sure.
it, you become even more feminine.
Honestly, yes.
You're
Yeah.
diametrically opposed in that sense.
It's weird. I will say this. I am actually pretty good at sports.
You are. Well, you're so competitive.
Well, I've learned that from my father. Yeah.
Okay.
But to distill my sports making moment with my dad to one moment, which is realizing very quickly, but not getting the balls to do it for years later, which is I need to stop all sports. I need to figure out a way to tell my dad that I am no longer going to be playing any sports. And I did that slowly with all of the sports except for one, which is baseball. Baseball is my dad's sport.
Yeah.
And so
Mine too.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting. Well, so when I was playing baseball, I was like, oh no, when I tell my dad that I'm finally stopping this last sport, it is going to ruin him.
Yeah, you're at that last thread.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I need to sit him down and have a talk.
Sure. Okay.
So
you need to have the talk.
The
with
talk,
your father.
exactly. I had the talk with my dad, and I was like, hey, Dad, I need to come out and tell you something really, really difficult.
Oh, no.
So I sit him down, and I'm like, Dad, I'm going to tell you something, and as I tell you, like, you're probably going to have a big reaction. But this reaction I've thought about, it is true to who I am. It's not a phase.
Oh.
I will always feel this way.
Oh.
I do not like any sports, and I do not like baseball. I have to stop. To which my dad's reaction was big. It was tears. There were tears.
Oh, I was expecting a sigh of relief.
No, because I was
Something
actually
else.
surprisingly good.
Yeah.
It was like, his reaction was, are you sure it's not a phase? Are you sure you don't want one more time at bat? See if maybe there's a taste of something that you will can't come back to.
I'll get up to bat.
Yeah,
And lots of bats in my future.
Truly, and he was like, well, why don't we just think about it? You don't know. Maybe we don't tell anyone. Maybe we don't make some big decisions. You know, wait. Let's just give it some space. And I was like, Dad, no. This is who I am.
Right.
You know, and he was just you can never life without this is just not worth it. And I was like, Dad, I'm so sorry. He's getting very emotional, and he's like this is just gonna be really hard for me to come back from. And I understand it, and I love you and I respect you, but I just think maybe you should think about it,
Okay.
And so we go back and forth for a while.
This is not the last time we're going to talk.
Yes, exactly. We go back and forth for a while. He says, it kind of ends with him saying, he's going to need a long while to recover from this.
Yeah, you've disappointed him.
I've disappointed him. It's not the sun.
Sure.
He didn't say that. But he was just it was a very emotional journey. And so then when I did eventually actually come out to my dad, I was worried, to which my dad's reaction was also sweetly emotional. But he then was just like, oh, yeah, Like, I love you. Gave me a big hug, and he was like, of course.
Yeah, wish you played sports.
It was truly the easiest coming out. The hardest coming out I had to do was tell my dad I'm no longer doing baseball.
Wow, that's so real.
Yeah.
I had to go through my mother. Both times.
And which one was harder?
Probably the first.
Stopping sports.
Yeah.
I was like, which one did you do first? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just sort of like, I can't fit this into my schedule right now.
Yeah.
I'm like in 6th grade.
Yeah, you're like, I've got 3 like Broadway plays that I'm.
Yeah, of course I was. Yeah, I was in the drama school, but that's beautiful, and I'm glad that I think open, honest communication.
Yeah.
Begets more open, honest communication. It makes it easier once you break that seal sort of the first time, and I'm proud of you.
Well, I think...
that you're not playing sports. I think you should be playing sports.
Well, it's funny because now I'm actually playing sports again.
Right.
So,
and apparently as competitive as ever.
And I'm also straight now.
Totally. Well, there are a lot of people in that gay sports league trying to prove things to their father.
Oh, 100%.
Let me tell you, it's not all fun. Well, it's not all fun in games. It's games, but it's not fun.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah.
I've said enough.
I would agree.
Greg, how do you make Kate Hudson all about yourself?
Well, with Kate Hudson, I mean, my mind immediately, of course, goes to the infamous poster, Almost Famous. I think I've seen the movie. Not sure.
I swore you were going to do 9. I just completely thought you were going to do 9.
See, 9, of course, is where I go first in terms of performance. Mm-hmm. That and Bridesmaids, and which Glee. I think is one of the greatest. And what?
Glee.
And Oh, right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was on the way over here. I was like, "What is she had bang her sister?" So, oh, wait.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to do Goldie.
We will get to Goldie. That's a big one. But of course, I go to Almost Famous, and as you know, I'm an avid concert goer. Mm-hmm. I love live music. You can't peel me away.
What accent are you doing?
Well, I don't just sort of
yourself. Okay.
I'm feeling
you
it.
went somewhere for a second.
I'm feeling it. Okay. Yeah, I went maybe to jolly old London town.
Okay. I thought you were maybe doing Kate in Almost Famous. You're like, I love live music.
Maybe I was doing Kate. I was feeling the vibe.
Okay.
But that's the magic of live music as well. You sort of never know what's going to come out. And this, of course, is life is music. Words are music. I'm just playing. I'm just doing
Art
the dance.
Art imitates life.
Exactly. So I was taken back to a time where, and of course, she's a groupie in that movie. Again, having not remembering a thing about it, I do know there was a tour bus and she was sort of following around, and she was backstage.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about a time that I spent backstage at a festival.
Okay.
So a few years ago, actually not even a few years ago, I don't know, probably like close to 9 years ago, there is a festival in Los Angeles called Camp Flog Gnaw, which is really, well, don't say that 3 times fast,
Is it, was it founded by Kirsty
Flaw? Yeah. No, it's Tyler, the Creator's local festival. Okay. It used to be over by UCLA. Now they do it at Dodgers. It's actually a really, really fun festival. Everyone is like 12 because like Tyler fans are very young and the lineup's very young. But I had gone the previous year. Lana had... She was the headliner. Like, they had a great acts. It was Lana, Solange.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, and it's really fun. And not only is it a music festival, but it's kind of like a carnival vibe too. So they have rides and games and all that. It's actually really cool. Okay. So, but the year after I went, a few friends were working with one of the artists that was playing. Okay. So Tyler has a group of like musicians. It's sort of like a musician's commune or something. Okay. They're called Odd Future. And there's like several different artists. They all end up like performing at this event. But a few of my friends were like working with one of them. I will not name them just based on the situation I found myself in. And they all had artist passes. Okay. And I had met him. I had met the artist. So I was gifted a pass, but it was like a VIP pass. Okay. So it didn't have like artist benefits.
Okay.
But I was with people that were like, come with us, it'll be fine.
Oh, no.
Which seems fun.
Yeah.
You know, but these things are pretty locked down, the artist area. So it all starts when I get there, the day that he is supposed to perform, and they're waiting outside, and they're all like walking into the artist entrance, just the entrance, just to get into the festival. And I'm told, you don't have the right wristband. Get out. Go the other way. And I was like, oh, are you sure? Like, everyone's like, yeah, he's going to get a wristband inside. He's like, no, you have to go around. So this is how my day starts. And by the way, I'm a rule follower. I don't like sneaking.
You say this. I don't believe it. Yeah.
I sure that I love the rules.
Okay.
I love the law.
Yeah.
I love abiding by the law.
I have a few stories I could tell. Where...
Well, we're not going to go. It's my time to talk.
Okay.
So I, of course, have to like walk, and I go to the VIP entrance, which, by the way, is a lot closer. It's still like 2 miles, as these things tend to be. So I'm like, I'll meet you guys inside.
Yeah.
I only know a few of these people, by the way.
Okay.
But it's like a relatively large group, and they, again, all have artist passes, so they have access to sort of wherever they want to go. I get in, I find them, I like walk all the way back. And we have to like start our sequence of like Alice in Wonderland, like through all the trap doors, Lemony Snicket series of unfortunate events to get backstage. I have
always been curious what happens back there.
It's like a VIP area, and then there's like there's what are those called, the RVs, like that each artist has, but like in order to get back there's like several hoops you have to jump through. So I start my I'm
hula hooping.
Yeah, I'm hula hooping, trying to get through these entrances, and some I'm successful in, and some I'm not, and like. By the way, I only know a few of these people, so I'm kind of like the one. I'm like, hey, and I'm so No Child Left Behind, and they all like have to figure out a way to like come get me, not even knowing who I am.
And they're like so busy. They're
you're so annoyed, but they're just trying to even get to the artist, and then the artist needs to get onto a golf cart, and like. Once we're all on that golf cart and get to that stage, I'll tell you off.
Okay.
But eventually, like, I figured out, like, people would come back, they'd give me their band, I'd go in, you know what I mean? It was a lot of, like, trickery. By the time I got on that golf cart and I got there.
Your clothes were tattered.
I got to the golf cart. It's like, oh my God. You get there, I'm backstage, I'm like looking out, I'm watching the concert from backstage. I should be full Kate Hudson. Like, I've made this happen, I've made magic happen, I'm here, I'm enjoying this. I'm shaking and trembling.
You're Danielle on the Traitors.
White. I have fully, I'm Danielle on the Traitors, fully in the corner, trembling, like tears. I can't enjoy a single fucking thing about this concert because of the war I've been through. He comes on stage, everyone's like, woo! They're all like high-fiving. I'm sitting on the back of the golf cart ready to go like this.
You have like PTSD flashbacks.
They all get back. Yeah, they all get back. They decide to go drink and do all that. I'm like, I get to the there's a security guard. He's like, wait, you don't have the wristband.
No.
I'm like, just let me through. I'm gonna go out. I'm just gonna go out. I'm gonna sit in GA and just watch Miss Lauryn Hill. Come on late.
Oh, but Lauryn Hill wasn't the artist, was it?
Lauryn Hill, she was not the artist.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
But Lauryn Hill was performing that year. She was supposed to do the entirety of Miss Education. She, of course, showed up a half hour late, and they kicked her off the stage 30 minutes into the set because she was so late. And you can't do that at festivals. You are on schedule. She was amazing the 30 minutes I saw. But that's my Kate Hudson backstage moment where I couldn't enjoy myself at all. I was so VVIP.
Yeah.
But the hoops, I hate jumping through hoops. I'm sorry. I'm not a dancing monkey.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny because you say you're a rule follower, and so you would think that you like, if there's a hoop, you'll jump through it.
Totally.
But you're kind of out here contradicting yourself. here on the pod.
There, in that situation, I couldn't handle it. And you know how much I love music. I just have no poker. I'm no Natasha Lyonne. I have no poker face.
What's that NBC show, that Peacock show that she's... Oh, that is Poker Face. Okay, Russian Doll. I was thinking of that. Okay, never mind. Well, yeah. Listen, I fully relate to this. I completely understand. If that happened to me, I would just find a corner of a wall to just go into Blair Witch style and stare at.
Yeah.
I would be Brody in Homeland, returning home. Just having panic attacks in my sleep.
Yeah. It was hard. It was hard to be there. It was hard to be me.
That sounds like the worst thing anyone could ever go through.
I know. I couldn't. It was actually so bad. I was so scared.
I know. I don't think that there's anything, especially in this year, 2025, with everything that's going on, nothing worse has ever happened to a human than getting backstage at an artist VIP festival and not being able to enjoy it. It's the worst.
It's just, everyone's a scammer but me. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
And those people should be ashamed of themselves.
Who should be ashamed of themselves most?
Who?
Danielle from the Traitors. Which leads us to our break.
Yes, exactly. We'll see you on the other side of these heaven and mountains.
Oh, God. We're back. And it's time for Diva Down. Diva Down, of course, is our final segment where we take a person, place, or thing that really needs our advice and offer that up to them unsolicited. And this week is more of a tragic Diva Down, an in memoriam.
Yes, it is just like a diva always.
A diva always.
And our diva this week is...
Our Diva Down.
I know. I couldn't even say it.
I know. It's so sad. Michelle Trachtenberg.
This woman raised me. She
seriously
is my childhood. Harriet the Spy, and for me, someone who loves Buffy, playing Dawn was a seminal. She was the heartbeat of that show.
She was the heartbeat of so many shows. She was kind of like young Heather Locklear, the show saver. She'd come in and sort of spice things up.
Gossip Girl.
I'm currently watching her in 6 Feet Under. I'm on season 4 of 6 Feet Under, where she plays the pop star Celeste, who sleeps with David's boyfriend, husband, and then fires him from the tour. He's her bodyguard.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, and she gave the show such a shot in the arm. Yeah. I say this a lot, one of my very first beards.
Yes.
One of my very first.
Euro trip.
This is too tragic.
It is. It feels just wrong that she's not here. She's way too young. I know that this is not a new statement, but it really has left me reeling, and it makes me so sad. And I just wish, my advice is just for her family, that I hope they get the privacy that they need, and I hope that I don't know that if we don't know what the case was, but I do hope that it was above board
and kind of natural,
and that she's resting easy. And my real advice is for all of us, which is just and honestly, go back and honor this queen by watching Harriet the Spy and Buffy and all of the things that we just listed.
Yes, I agree. My advice, I think Harriet the Spy again was huge. The first Nickelodeon movie that was such a big...
The Bottle Garden.
Thing. Yeah, and Harriet the Spy famously made me buy my first journal, which I famously never wrote in. But that's on me. And that is sort of
Did you also get the VHS? Because I had the VHS of it, and I believe it was my only orange VHS.
Because of the first Nickelodeon. I thought it was just everything about Harriet the Spy was so big. It was our culture, completely, everyone that age. I did get the VHS. I loved it. The movie was a little slow for me, but I
couldn't watch it again. I've only watched it once because the pranks they pull on her in that movie is so mean that I was actually I remember my sister would try to get me to watch it, and I would be I can't put myself through that again.
It was
hard. It was my first childhood trauma. And the reason why was because I was so in love with her.
Yes.
She was such a good actress. I couldn't stand people being mean to her.
Yes, a real star, an unproblematic star. My advice would be, to go back, honor your legends, watch Harriet the Spy, but also invest in a journal because I think, and actually write in it because there is so much power in journaling.
Yeah. Anyways, we love you, Queen, forever and always.
Yes.
And I mean, on that somber note.
Yeah.
I mean,
follow us on TikTok.
You know, the funny thing is,
if you don't already,
I was gonna do a bad transition towards like on that somber note. Let's talk about Cynthia.
Yeah,
but I don't think Cynthia. Hello,
Cynthia. Hello.
Crush, your new single is I think out now.
And
we're going to be replaying it.
Totally. It's our new theme song. Thank you for allowing us to write.
And it will maybe get us through this sad time. Okay, and with that. Follow us on Missing the Pod on TikTok and Instagram. And go to our YouTube page and follow us there and subscribe on all of those places.
Yes, and seriously, I know we say this, but seriously, if you listen and you love it and like you haven't commented on or rated on Apple
or Spotify,
please do that because it really is helpful to just get us in front of more eyeballs. So please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you next week.
Bye. Miss Thing Podcast is created, executive produced, and hosted by Greg Trimmer and Tim Zintek.
It's produced and edited by Benji Simons, with cover art and additional creative support by Claude Zines.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Miss Thing the Pod.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Watch on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Please subscribe, rate, and review, but only raves. Strictly 5 stars and above.
Follow Greg at Greg Trimmer and Tim at Tim_Zintek on all social media.
BONK.